yeah, before we start, make sure to like, subscribe, and press the bell icon to get notifications for all our new videos. Coming in at number 10, we have Nura, the Rise of the Yokai Clan. Nura Clan's third heir, Rikuo Nuro, is expected to inherit his grandfather's Nurarian as the head of the Nura Clan, following his grandfather's example. However, Rikuo, on the other hand, is a peace-loving young man who would rather spend his time playing video games with his classmates. If only reality were as simple. After he and his friends are targeted by yokai, his life takes a turn for the good. It's only after that he realizes he must become the supreme commander of all yokai in an effort to eradicate this threat and put an end to this menace. Did I mention the person who hates yokai has a quarter of his blood made up of yokai blood? He is one of the most self-assured and ruthless characters you will ever come across in your life.
Dungeon Master.
Number 9. Kage no Jitsuryokusha ni Naritakude. Genres: action, comedy, fantasy. For as long as he can remember, Minoru Kageno has been fixated on becoming as strong as possible, which has led him to undertake all kinds of rigorous training. This wish, however, does not stem from a desire to be recognized by others. Rather, Minoru does everything he can to blend in with the crowd. So, while pretending to be a completely average student during the day, he arms himself with a crowbar and ruthlessly thrashes local biker gangs at night. Yet, when Minoru finds himself in a truck accident, his ambitions seemingly come to a sudden end. In his final moments, he laments his powerlessness. No matter how much he trained, there was nothing he could do to overcome his human limitations. But instead of dying, Minoru reawakens as Sid, the second child of the noble Kageno family in another world, one where magic is commonplace. With the power he so desired finally within his grasp, he dons the moniker Shadow and establishes Shadow Garden, a group whose sole purpose is to combat the enigmatic cult of Diablos, an organization born from Sid's imagination. However, as Shadow Garden grows in both membership and influence, it becomes increasingly apparent that the cult of Diablos is not as fictional as Sid had intended. Number 8. Shangri-La Frontier, Kusuge Hunter Kamige ni Irumen Tuso. Second-year high school student Rakuro Hizatome is interested in one thing only: finding shitty games and beating the crap out of them. His gaming skills are second to none, and no game is too bad for him to enjoy. So, when he's introduced to the new VR game Shangri-La Frontier, he does what he does best: min-maxes and skips the prologue to jump straight into the action. But can even an expert gamer like Rakuro discover all the secrets that Shangri-La Frontier hides? Slime Tioshite 300 nen Shiranai Uchi ni level max ni Natamashita. Genres: comedy, fantasy, slice of life. In role-playing games, slimes are usually the easiest monster to kill, and because of that, they yield few experience points. But what would happen if you live long enough to keep defeating them for 300 years? After many years of being a corporate slave, Azusa Aizawa abruptly passes away due to severe exhaustion. Seemingly headed for the afterlife, she meets a goddess who bestows her with immortality alongside a peaceful life in another world. There, Azusa enjoys her days tending to her farm, protecting the nearby village, and killing about 25 slimes per day, a routine that continues for at least 3 centuries. However, this rather monotonous cycle begins to change when Azusa suddenly finds out that she has reached level 99, the maximum possible level, from slimes alone. Despite desperately trying to hide this fact in fear of ending her slow life, rumors of her strength spread nevertheless. Soon enough, various people throughout the continent, like the dragon Laika and the elf Halkara, start to appear at her doorstep, some seeking a battle, others asking for her assistance. Meeting friends and acquaintances who soon become family, Azusa finds she can live a life far better with others than when she was alone.
同じことを考えてたの。
Diate 5 BU Day Battle. Genres: Action, Supernatural. It was just a usual morning. Akiroshiro Yanagi, a high schooler who loves games and kanpeto, which are Japanese sweets, has suddenly been dragged into a battlefield by a mysterious girl who calls herself Neon. The participants are told that they are erased from the family register, involved in an experiment, and gain certain powers. Akira is determined to win the game with his newfound powers and destroy the organization. Armed with a power no one expects and his brain skills, the new period of intelligence battle begins.
僕生きてる。あ、正気に戻られましたね。
悪い悪い、一日勘違いしたわ。てくす、サザル不注意め。
自業自得でしょ。正気に戻ったならさっさと姫殿下のおみ足から離れなさい。
Coming in at number 5, we have Alderman of the Sky. Ikta Solork is one of the most unmotivated characters you will ever meet. He spends most of his time sleeping and slacking off on a branch somewhere. He has a different outlook on life than the rest of the people around him, and he does not believe in raw strength. His philosophy of life is somewhat bizarre, to say the very least. He does not believe in brute strength and always tries to have a strategic advantage over his enemies, but when it comes to the brain department, he is a wizard of unexpected moves and manages to oversmart anyone or everyone around him. Calling this guy undefeated would be a great understatement. Though he harbors fond memories of his childhood friend Yatori Shino Igsem and, for some reason, bears a never-ending hate towards the Empire. This is a story about a group of friends who, due to some unexpected events, become ensnared in a war with several strategies, mind tricks, and plot twists coming along the way.
君は俺にとって大切な人だから。それが俺の伝えたかったことだよ。
はい。
Coming in at number 4, we have Record of the Grand Crest War. Theo Cornaro, a young promising boy who holds the ambition to achieve greatness in his life, one day meets a beautiful, elegant woman, Saluka Melodies, who is a 17-year-old talented mage, and she immediately took a liking to the boy and decided to be his mage. It is a story of conquering and conquest, with lots of war strategies going on, along with a love interest between the two protagonists. They're both inspired by the ideology that all evil and demonic beings must be exterminated from the face of the planet in order to unite the world under one banner. Overall, this fantastic anime has something for everyone. It is a convoluted narrative of two people who went from nothing to everything, and I would personally suggest it to everyone who has not seen it yet.
わも一度やってみたいのじゃ。宮本なの。パパ。さっきのゆれお姉ちゃんみたいに香りお姉ちゃんとチューするの？どういうことかな。かな。みんなはお仕事に行ってたんだよね。なのにどうしてゆえ。
Coming in at number 3, we have Ari Ferretta from Commonplace to World's Strongest. Hajime, along with all of his classmates and teacher, is mysteriously summoned to a fantasy world, followed up by entitling them as heroes of this world. It just so happens that our protagonist also happens to be a synergist and is considered an apathetic and weak guy, which is why one of the members of the group decides to purposefully attack Hajime with his magic while they were on an exploring mission inside the dungeon. Because of this, Hajime was knocked down to the deepest point of the dungeon. However, he's still alive. I mean, what else would you expect from the main character? This guy makes it out alive and transforms into the exact opposite of his former self, and now has a very bad attitude, to say the very least.
この際どちらが先などと言っておられぬ。私たち不敬を持っていただきましょう。何言ってんの。若さ。さあ。
Number 7. Tsukiga Michibiku Isekai Dochu. Genres: action, adventure, comedy, fantasy. As part of a mysterious contract agreed upon by a goddess and his parents years ago, Makoto Mizumi finds himself sent to another world to meet the goddess and become the hero. However, the deity deems Makoto to be hideous, refusing to even lay eyes upon him, and revokes his heroic title. Disdainfully giving him the ability to understand all languages except the human language as compensation, the goddess drives Makoto off the farthest edges of the wasteland, far from human civilization. Due to the disparity between Earth and this new world, Makoto's inherent physical and magical capabilities awaken, making him extremely powerful. He meets various demi-humans and mythological beings who all end up being captivated with his characteristics and join Makoto in building a new community where all of them can peacefully coexist. Nevertheless, despite this success, Makoto still yearns to meet fellow humans. In a world where the goddess herself has barred him from interacting with his kind, it is up to Makoto and his companions to fulfill his desire and perhaps reform society along the way. Mushoku Tensei Isekai Itara Hanki Dasu Part 2. Genres: drama, fantasy, ecchi. After the mysterious mana calamity, Rudius Greyrat and his fierce student Eris Boreas Greyrat are teleported to the Demon Continent. There, they team up with their newfound companion Ruijerd Sapardia, the former leader of the Superds warrior group, to form Dead End, a successful adventurer party. Making a name for themselves, the trio journeys across the continent to make their way back home to Fitoa. Following the advice he received from the faceless goddess Hitagami, Rudius saves Kishirika Kishirisu, the great emperor of the demon world, who rewards him by granting him a strange power. Now, as Rudius masters the powerful ability that offers a number of new opportunities, it might prove to be more than what he bargained for when unexpected dangers threaten to hinder their travels.